Excess of everything is bad. If it taken in moderation, it is always good. So for example, tea is good for health, but if taken multiple times in a day, it creates problem. Something is similar with water also. Drinking water is always considered to be good, but if we take too much of water, then it also creates problem. Something similar is with greenhouse gases. Even though all these greenhouse gases are very good for the environment and they helps us to be on the earth, but the excess also creates a problem, and then it makes the life difficult to live in the earth. Today I am going to talk about GHG protocol, Greenhouse Gases Protocol. By the time this video will end, you will understand what exactly this GHG protocol, what about these 6 gases, how they are contributing or not contributing with respect to the emissions. Then what are the different types of protocol which are there with respect to GHG, what are the 3 different scopes, scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3, and what is the benefit of effectively implementing GHG protocol. So let's start first with respect to the GHG protocol. So in 1990s, GHG protocol was made, and the objective is that these 6 greenhouse gases, which are very important for the environment and for our living, how they are impacting and how they are contributing with respect to all the bad things which are happening around us. So let's talk a little bit about these 6 greenhouse gases. The first one is carbon dioxide. Now, when we're talking about emissions, our intent is to see that how much emission is happening. So there's a unit called global warming potential, GWP. So that is a criteria which is there to calculate that how much is the emission with respect to that. So for carbon dioxide, GWP is 1. So let's understand which are the other 5 gases which are there. The second gas which is emitting outside is called methane, and for methane the GWP is 28 to 36. The third one is nitrous oxide, wherein the GWP is 265 to 298. So you can see that we think that carbon dioxide is bad, but think about the other gases, how much they are impacting the environment. Then the fourth one is hydrofluorocarbon, where the GW varies from 124 to 12,500. The fifth one is perfluorocarbon, where the GWP varies from 6,500 to 11,100. And the last is sulfur hexafluoride, where the GW goes as high as 23,500. So you can understand that how much all these 6 gases are contributing with respect to the environment. Now, when we think about GHG protocol, we also need to understand that where it can be implemented. So we can think about any place and it can be implemented. It could be as simple as it can be the businesses, government, NGOs, cities, municipalities, suppliers, investors, consulting groups, wherever we can think it can be implemented. And there are different GHG protocol standards which are there for different kind of industries and type. So for example, it is there for corporate standard, there is a GHG protocol with respect to the cities, then there is mitigation goal standard, then there is a corporate value chain which is scope 3 standard, then policy and action standard, product standard, and the project protocol. So means depending upon the kind of industry and the type of work that we are doing, there is a separate protocol with respect to that. Now that brings another important thing, that when we talked about the 6 gases, then how to monitor that, how much it is being emitted, and how to categorize them. So there are 3 key categories: scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3. When we talk about scope 1, primarily it is talking about all the emissions which is happening within the organization. So for example, if we take any car manufacturer, so whatever emissions are happening inside that organization, it can be with respect to boiler, generator set, with respect to the machines, maybe with respect to the vehicle. So all those emissions which are there inside the organization are called scope 1 or the direct. Then second is scope 2, or it is also called indirect emission. Now to run any organization, we need electricity, we need steam, we need a lot of energy. So whatever energy in terms of electricity or steam that the organization is purchasing from outside, all that emissions that is contributing is considered as a part of scope 2. Then the scope 3 or the other indirect. So this is a category where the majority of the emissions are there. Almost more than 70% of the emissions are contributed from scope 3. So primarily when we talk about scope 3, the intent is upstream and downstream. When we talk about upstream and taking the example of a car manufacturer, all the supply chain, the value chain for the raw material is coming, bought parts, consumable, capital good, and all the other things are coming, all are part of upstream. And when we talk about downstream, here the intent is that when the car is being transported to any other place, then it is being used say for 5, 10 or 15 years, and then finally it is being dumped. So what are the emissions which are happening at that particular time? When we combine together, that becomes scope 3 emissions. So when we talk about emissions, it is in three parts: scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3. So that brings another interesting point, that what are the benefits GHG protocol is bringing to the society. So there are many. Say for example, when we think about the benefit, the first and the foremost benefit which is coming because of GHG protocol is that it is helping the organizations to understand that where this emission is coming from and how to reduce it. Then secondly, it is building trust with investors, stakeholders and the customers. Third very important aspect is that it is aligning with ESG framework and the global standard. When we talk about ESG, it stands for environment, social and the governance. Then it is also helping to prepare the organization for compliance and for the climate risk disclosure. And finally, it is helping the organization to think about product innovation and market opportunities, because they need to find out some better ways so that the emissions can be reduced as much as possible. So if we do summary, I talked about the 6 gases when the carbon dioxide has a value of GWP as 1, and then I talked about the other gases. Then I talked about where GHG protocol can be implemented. Then another aspect is there are different kind of standards which are there for the different kind of industries. After that, I talked about the 3 key ways in which emissions can be monitored so that we can understand and we can monitor them easily: scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3. And then finally, I talked about the benefits of GHG protocol which is there. My next video will again be something with respect to the GHG protocol, where I am going to talk in detail with respect to these 6 gases and what is their impact with respect to the environment. Regularly, I am getting a lot of feedback from your side and they are helping me to understand your expectations. So please do continue that. In case you want to understand a little bit more about this particular video, you will find a link below. If you click that, you will find a blog there. There you find this information in much more detail. And in case you are liking these kind of blogs and videos, you can always share with your friends and colleagues, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and my website bhavyamangla.com. I also make regularly videos with respect to the life lessons, and there is a specific channel with respect to that. It is called Life Lessons with Bhavya Mangla. In case you are interested, you can go through that and you can enjoy that also. Thank you.